Hello, let's read Shark Lady, the true story of how Eugenie Clark became the ocean's most fearless scientist. Sorry. It was Saturday, and Eugenie wanted to stay at the aquarium forever. She wanted to smell the damp, salty air and stare at the glittery rainbow of fish. She wanted to keep watching her favorite animals, the sharks. Eugenie pretended she was walking on the bottom of the sea. What would it be like to swim with her sharks? To breathe underwater with gills of her own? More than anything, she wanted to find out. When the summer came, Eugenie's mother took her to swim at the beach in Atlantic City. Sticking sticky gum into her ears to keep the water out, Eugenie dove down, down, down. The salt stung her eyes, but she didn't want to miss a single fish. Constellations of sea stars speckled the pebbled sand. She imagined a silvery fin standing strong on her back, slicing through the ocean current. To others, sharks were ugly and scary, but Eugenie knew they were beautiful. As she glided through the cool water, she wished everyone could see sharks through her eyes. But the sharks were only in her mind for now. Eugenie decided to learn everything she could about them. So she dove, this time, into books. Whale sharks, nurse sharks, tiger sharks, lemon sharks. Eugenie wanted to know about them all. She also joined the Queens County Aquarium Society as its youngest member. Eugenie's notebooks filled with sharks. They swam in her daydreams and on the margins of her pages. At home, Eugenie's mother surprised her with an aquarium of her own. A 15-gallon tank was much too small for sharks, but Eugenie saved her allowance to buy guppies, clownfish, and coral red snails. It felt as big as an ocean in her room. Their small apartment became an aquarium, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. As she grew older, many were still telling Eugenie what to do. Forget those sharks. Be a secretary. Be a housewife. Eugenie wanted to study zoology, but some of her professors thought women weren't smart enough to be scientists or brave enough to explore the oceans, and they said sharks were mindless monsters. Eugenie knew better. Her dream was as big as a whale shark. So again, Eugenie dove. She plunged into every course she could. Her laboratory became her home. From sunrise to sunset, she studied how fish grew, how they behave, and how they were put together, both inside and out. Despite all the people who didn't believe in her, Eugenie was becoming one of the smartest students in her field. Even after she earned her degree, many still doubted her. But Eugenie's work was just beginning. Eager to make discoveries of her own, Eugenie finally dove into the open ocean. In the Red Sea, Eugenie collected hundreds of fish, including 3 new species that had not been discovered before: the Red Sea sand diver, the barred zinnia pipefish, and the volcano tripplefin. On a research mission exploring the Palua Islands, Eugenie was diving alone when she encountered her first ever wild shark. She wasn't afraid. Instead, she thought it was beautiful. In Isla Mujeres, she dispelled the myth that sharks must keep moving to stay alive. When she swam through dark caves, still and silent, full of resting sharks. Eugenie's daring heart grew bolder with each dive. Soon they began to call her Shark Lady. Eugenie had proven she was smart enough to be a scientist and brave enough to explore the oceans. As her courage grew, she began to love and understand her beloved sharks more and more. But she never forgot how many still believed that sharks were mindless killers. Because of their scary reputation, humans were hunting sharks all over the world. Eugenie knew that sharks weren't stupid or mean. She was determined to prove everyone wrong. Eugenie fished through her mind and devised a brilliant experiment. Could she train a shark the way a person trains a dog? Were sharks much smarter than anyone knew? They were. Eugenie was the first scientist in the world to train sharks and even learned they could remember their training for at least 2 months after. Sharks were not mindless killers. Sharks were beautiful. Sharks were smart. They deserved to be studied, protected, and loved. And Eugenie's dream was now a dream come true. And this tells more information. Shark bites. Dangerous monsters? No way. There are over 400 species of sharks, and of these, only about a dozen are known to be dangerous to humans, and encounters are extremely rare. The truth is, despite their fearsome reputations, humans are much more dangerous to sharks than they are to us. Every year, humans kill more than 100 million sharks. It's important to treat sharks with respect, but there's no need to fear them. And I'll let you pause and read the rest of this on your own. We've got Sleep Tight that talks about sharks sleeping, and No Toothbrush Here that's about their teeth. Sneaky Skin talks about the types of their shark skin with the dermal denticles. And Big, Small, and Everything in Between talks about the various sizes of sharks. Mermaid Purses, that's about sharks giving birth to live young. Some do. Others, like the dogfish, produce unique egg sacs that sustain their young. These leathery sacs are known as mermaid's purses, and they provide the young shark embryo with a safe place to grow. Sometimes it's possible to find a mermaid's purse on the shore if you look carefully. Life at the Top, it's about them being apex predators. So they're at the very top of the food chain. And sharks are old, very old. About how sharks first appeared over 400 million years ago. And then here's the timeline for this Eugenie Clark. So May 4th, 1922, she was born in New York. Her mother, Yumiko, was of Japanese descent. Her American father, Charles Clark, passed away before Eugenie was 2 years old. Then in 1931, she visited the New York Aquarium at Battery Park and sees living sharks for the first time. And her mother bought her a 15-gallon aquarium as an early Christmas present. Then she earned her Bachelor of Arts in Zoology from Hunter College. She earned her master's degree in zoology. She becomes Dr. Eugenie Clark, earning her doctorate in zoology and a scholarship to study fish on the Red Sea. She publishes her first book, Lady with the Spear. She discovers the belted sandfish, a species of fish that can change its sex in as little as 10 seconds. Eugenie's groundbreaking work on lemon sharks is published. She's the first scientist to train sharks to push a target or ring a bell to receive food. Then she becomes a professor of zoology at the University of Maryland. She published a second book of her adventures called The Lady and the Sharks. She begins writing columns and articles for National Geographic magazine. She discovers the Moses sole produces toxins that repel sharks. She enters an underwater cave in a Yucatan peninsula full of resting sharks, and she's the first to study them. She hitches a ride on the back of a whale shark. Egypt's first national park, the Ras Mohammed National Park, is established partly due to Eugenie's work in the area. She's a strong advocate for conservation and loves the beauty and diversity of the Red Sea. Eugenie dives deep on her first trip in a submersible. In her life, she'll make over 70 submersible dives to explore the ocean. These trips take her up to 12,000 feet deep. 1999, she moves to Sarasota with her family and begins working at the Mott Marine Library. And then 2004, she injures her ankle on A diving expedition, she's seen by doctors and they discover she has lung cancer. She's treated with chemotherapy. In May of 2014, she celebrates her 92nd birthday by scuba diving with a group of divers in Jordan and Israel at 92. February 25th, 2015, she passes away in her home in the company of her family. All right, and look at the end papers with all these different sharks. See that? And here's some more on the other. Oops, sorry. More on this side. So, this was called Shark Lady, the true story of how Eugenie Clark became the ocean's most fearless scientist. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you come back often. See you next time on Stories with Grandma.